Humanity sets the agenda.
You are listening to the Midnight Talk on Salam Media. It is 7 minutes past 12. Meet Me Makoma Lekalakala, an environmental activist who helped stop a $76 billion nuclear deal between South Africa and Russia. She's also the joint winner of the 2018 Goldman Environmental Prize with fellow activist Liz McDade, here to share her journey with us, how it all began, and where to for us as a country and even the rest of the world. Good day, Makoma, and thank you for joining me.
Good day, and good day to your listeners.
Now, you're no stranger to standing up to those in power. When did your journey begin?
I grew up in the times when the whole country was standing up against injustices. In the 80s, as a teenager, that is when also my understanding and also my activism started. And then throughout then, I became part of different organizations, youth, women's organizations, and at some stage even been active in the church. But I think the whole thing changed when I became part of the labor movement at a very young age. And because my parents couldn't afford to take me to university, and there was no kind of support for me to be able to carry on with my studies. And I had to join the labor movement, and this is where much of my activism has been honed. And then throughout, I have been an activist until I was invited to be part of, worked with within the labor movement. I worked with the labor movement, women's organizations, social justice organizations, and I got invited to become part of S.A Africa around 2005, 2006. And that's when my environmental justice journey started. And when I joined, I realized that the environment is connected to almost everything, whether it's social justice issues, whether it's economic issues. And then that's how I found myself being a social environmental justice activist. And since then, I have chosen some of the work that I think sometimes it's not being looked into, much more around the environment and women, and the amount of corruption that takes place within the environment, particularly from developers who would want to construct or establish any sort of business without respect of a particular country, much more in South Africa. And as the world talks about COP26, the climate change conference of the parties, I think one of the things that the organization has done at Life Africa, of which I was part of, is to challenge the South African government on its climate change regulations. We actually stopped the country from building another coal-fired power station, basically because of climate change. The country has committed itself to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but it was building a coal-fired power station, so we're able to stop that also.
Wow, that's amazing, and the job that you have done as well with the environment and for bringing that knowledge to us. I remember we had you featured on the show and you spoke about the radioactivity that is going on in the city of Johannesburg, because Johannesburg was named as the a city that has the highest radioactivity in the world. Now, your award, the Goldman Environmental Prize. This came after the $76 billion nuclear deal, which you helped to stop. Tell us about that nuclear deal and what does the award mean to you?
Okay, I think one thing that I had said when accepting the award, I did indicate that it was not my award. I'm just a representative of all the people who worked so hard to squash that nuclear deal that was made between Russia and South Africa. without even the population or the citizens of the country knowing about that. The award was not mine, and it's still not mine. It's the award of all those who worked hard, and I accepted the award was Liz McQuaid, who we worked together. And the reason that both myself and Liz were picked as the people who were nominated and received the award, it's mainly because we had filed the papers. I filed the papers against this nuclear plans that the country had, and we supported what I filed on with an affidavit. So in the case, she was saying, Liz was saying, I agree with her, and that's how we have been singled out. But there has been a lot more other people who have been part of that. Again, started on this. I think it's Atlas Africa. When we started in 1988 as an organization, the organization we declared an anti-nuclear organization, and one was worrying factor was that that was when the country only nuclear power station came into operation, and Atlas Africa, a group of students got worried about that. And initially they wanted to start the Greenpeace South Africa, but unfortunately because of the kind of tensions and uneasiness within Greenpeace by then, they decided that no one state Greenpeace would take S.A Africa, and that's how it became S.A Africa. And throughout, when the country also was proposing what it called the Pebble Big Modular Reactor, Atlas Africa really challenged it and also took the minister by then to court to say we cannot decide without public participation. We challenged that through the court. As the time went on, we realized one of our colleagues, partner organization, international partner organizations in Russia, Eco Defense, highlighted to us that there's this information that is got from the website of Rosatom that there's been an agreement signed with South Africa, and we were not aware of that. So naturally, we'd go to our Department of Energy and request information regarding that. But they were not giving us information until we decided that we will take that information from the website and keep it. And I think that was a good tactic that we did there, because almost the day after I was taking that information, the Rosatom deleted that information from their website. And through what we got from the website, we had to give to Amabungani to do extensive investigations for us. And what we found out was that the deal was already closed, and what was going to happen was only for the Russians and South Africans to start looking for a place which already had been there, place planned in the Eastern Cape. And then we requested answers we were not getting at all. And that's what made us to just really go to court. We had to follow through processes. We questioned, we wrote letters, we asked for information, and we didn't get. And then we decided to go to court. Atlas Africa decided to go to say taking this to court. We spoke to different partners, and lucky SAFE came in as a religious organization based on the fact there are issues around the environment. It's much more for people to be morally and ethically responsible. And so they joined us at Life, and we went to court, and we went through that process of going to court, which was hectic, traumatic at the same time. But because we knew we had a clarity of purpose, and we're convinced that this is the right thing to do, energy justice is not followed in the country, and the court ruled on our behalf. And that is how the 9.6 gigawatts of nuclear power construction or reactors in this country was stopped. And we're still monitoring the process. We're not saying that because we won in court, we're just going to leave it like that. Now they can see that there's been attempts However, the Eskom CEO, the regulator, says Eskom cannot afford any new nuclear power, but we see from the Department of Mineral Resources is saying they're trying to prepare for future power, which is unlikely to happen based on climate change considerations, based on the economy is quite expensive, based on the waste that over.
Right now, I know, like you mentioned, that not many of us know exactly what is happening in the country, especially when it comes to things like nuclear power, nuclear deals that are taking place. So, what would the nuclear deal mean for South Africans and the environment?
Okay, I'll refer to the past nuclear deal that South Africa was really roped in. One is what that deal meant. It meant that there's going to be, firstly, with the construction of the reactors would add to the carbon budget of the country. It's a carbon-intensive process. That would mean that there's a lot of cement that is going to be needed. There's a lot of reconstruction, clearing up of the place, and that would be very carbon intensive. And then also, what that would mean that South Africa has got to use a lot of money for the construction of these new reactors. And that money, this is the money that would be used towards a service delivery. The money that would be used to construct nuclear reactors would be the money that can be used towards education, towards making sure that more young people get educated, also building more schools, building decent houses, and also alternatively, rather than having a nuclear power station, have solar panels on each and every person's roof that would bring about a low carbon development. The worst thing that would have happened if we allowed this nuclear deal comes into place would be, firstly, that our political system that we know is so fragile and was so fragile by then under President Zuma, who we believe that there already has been exchange of gifts under the table. And so that would mean that would not, as South Africans, be able to control what sort of energy do we want. It is dictated from outside based on what was achieved. And also that if any accident happens around the construction or when the nuclear public, that would ability for that, even though it was not our idea to build the
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's not our idea, and we can't take credit for things that are not ours. And even though there's nothing to take credit for, government should be held accountable for taking or for making such deals which are not going to benefit us. Makoma, please stay on the line. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I'd like to talk about the water situation that we are currently facing at the moment. Please stay with us.
Okay.
With up to 97% of Gaza's water supply unfit for human consumption, desalinated water is the only hope to avoid catastrophe. The Al-Imdad Foundation has been operating desalination plants and delivering safe water in the Gaza Strip since 2014. Help us continue providing clean, safe drinking water in Gaza by donating your lila or sadaka today. Visit alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
Osman's Taj Mahal Spice and Rice. For over 80 years, Osman's Taj Mahal have been perfecting the art of the perfect blend of spices, pure, aromatic, and well-seasoned. Spices to tantalize your taste buds. From creative cuisines to gastronomical gourmet goodies. From exotic odors to traditional dishes, Osman's Taj Mahal have remained synonymous with quality spices and condiments. Taj Mahal rice, beans, and lentils. Try our range of chili bite mixes, rose and ilachi syrup, our quick and easy biryani pack, and our traditional range of spice blends. Osman's Taj Mahal. There is no substitute for quality.
For your convenience, the Africa Muslims Agency's Durban office has moved to 797 Jan Smuts Highway, Sherwood, Durban. Our friendly staff are eagerly awaiting to receive, advise, and share with you the current ongoing campaigns and projects that you have been supporting for the last 35 years. Visit us at 797 Jan Smuts Highway, Sherwood, or call 031 207 5676. Africa Muslims Agency, inspiring the spirit of giving.
Looking to get your kick? Kiki's have now reopened on 235 Matthews Maiwa Road in Durban. Head on over for the Taste with Kick. We offer something scrumptious for everyone in the family. Wraps, chicken tikka, burgers, tender grills, mocktails, milkshakes, and so much more. Corporate and events catering available. Visit our social media pages for more info or call 031 209 0119. Kiki's, the Taste with Kick.
These days, I'm more health conscious than ever. So tonight, it's stir fry for dinner, cooked in healthy Helios pure sunflower cooking oil. Helios is pure sunflower goodness, packed with omega-6. That's good for your heart, and is approved as part of the Heart and Stroke Foundation eating plan. Dinner's ready! Helios, pure sunflower cooking oil. A healthy family is a happy one.
Tune in to Salam Media via audio stream or watch live facebook.com/Salam Media.
Welcome back. We are talking to Makoma Lekalakala, who is an environmental activist who helped stop a $76 billion nuclear deal between South Africa and Russia. Now, I'm sure many of you have heard about Day Zero, where the country had not the country per se, but Cape Town had a serious water crisis, and we are hearing it again with the Port Elizabeth. So let us find out, where do we stand as a country? Makoma, thank you for staying on the line. Now, with this water situation that we find ourselves in, how much longer do we have until the entire country is in Day Zero?
I think that the country is one of the countries in the Southern African region that is self-sufficient. We've known this for so many years, and this is part of the warnings that we get around the negative impacts of climate change, that we don't have water, we have not had water for quite a long time. And the unfortunate part is that the allocation of the water budget that we have, even though municipalities have got their own allocation, but the allocation mostly industries prepared to get a bigger allocation of water. And that would mean that all of us, despite all the mishaps around policy and allocation of water, that each and every one of us has to take responsibility, also be able to save water. I know when I say so, particularly to those people who don't have the luxury of ever-flowing water, it's an insult to them. But however, all of us have got a responsibility and an obligation to save water. We would not want to find ourselves until people are talking about Day Zero. Day Zero is also manufactured. Day Zero is also very political, and we cannot remove ourselves from that. For example, when Cape Town, we were told about Day Zero, there was also news that, or rumors or allegations that there is an Israeli company that is being given a contract to desalinate water within the Cape Town metro. And when that was put in the public eye that there's this kind of background things happening, and we no longer heard about Day Zero. besides that, the rain started coming in, but we no longer know that something day zero is also very critical. It's very critical in the sense also of how do you as a country prepared for adaptation, and are we really eco-conscious of living consciously and not consuming much more than we are supposed to. I think these are the questions that whether a person from whatever ideological or religious background, we have particular ways of saving and we have rituals that really make us reflect on our everyday activities. So the water issue is part of that, and water runs across all our ceremonies and including, any other thing we do. So it should be a precious commodity that should be saved and used accordingly and economically by everyone.
All right, and what can we all do to protect the environment?
I always say that all of us, I think from where we are, whether it's culturally, whether it's religiously, we all are connected to the environment. And connected to the environment, and I think if you follow all the cultural practices, the environment is central, it's integral. You follow religious practices, also the environment is central, it's integral. Let me say, as a person who follows African traditionalist belief systems, the environment is at the center of our belief system. And one other thing is that I think as Africans we also have totems. I know that in some of countries in almost all Africans have got totems. And those totems is just not a totem, it's a totem that describes you as a person or as a friend, but also it means that animal or that plant that the totem is, you have to protect it. And that's how close we are to the environment. And this notion that African people are not close to the environment is not there. We are actually much closer. And religiously, I think in all religions, people can attest to that religion actually advocate also for protecting and saving the environment. But as individuals, I think in our being now, it is important that we don't over-consume. And I always teach the message that anything you have or you buy, you need to check if that can be reusable. If it's an item, can it be reusable? Can it be recycled? Can you do without it? These are the questions that one has to ask, because over consuming also creates the problem that we find ourselves in. And that's why it's quite important that we start from ourselves before we could even point fingers at anyone, because I'm the one who lives in this environment. And I think we have a beautiful and proper guide from the Constitution of South Africa, Section 24 of the Bill of Rights, that says everyone has got a right to live in an environment that is not harmful to your being. But further on, which most of us don't quote, is that you also have an obligation to ensure that that environment doesn't get deteriorated. Thank you.
Yeah, well, the environment is our home, so we need to ensure that we look after our home so that it can also look after us in return. Thank you so much for your time, Makoma, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That was Makoma Lekalakala, an environmental activist who helped stop a $76 billion nuclear deal between South Africa and Russia. But still, lots more needs to be done for the environment. And they are looking closely at such nuclear deals so that it stays as stopped, that they have put a full stop to it, and it will no longer resurface a few years to come. And the same with the situation with the water crisis. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the water prices have increased exponentially. It's crazy how much water costs these days, but we're not going to get into those details because time is not on our side at the moment. But do share your comments, your thoughts on in the comment section, or send them to us via WhatsApp on 0617660355. And don't forget to reuse, reduce, and recycle. And also stay with us